Continuing on in section 4.1, example 3 is sketching a graph. A model rocket rises quickly and then slows to a stop as its fuel burns out. It begins to fall quickly until the parachute opens, after which it falls slowly back to Earth. What sketch of a graph could represent the height of the rocket during its flight? Label each section. So, first thing we need to do is figure out our variables. It rises quickly and slows to a stop as fuel burns out. Begins to fall quickly until the parachute opens, after which it falls slowly back to Earth. So, the height of the rocket is one of our variables, and that depends on how long it's in flight. So, our variables are going to be time and height. So, as time goes on, or length of flight, our height is going to change. So, our rocket rises quickly, so it starts off on the ground, and it rises quickly and then slows to a stop as its fuel burns out. It begins to fall quickly until the parachute opens, after which it falls slowly back to the Earth. So, label each section. So, this is where it rises quickly. Here it slows to a stop. Then it's going to fall quickly. Our parachute opens. And then it falls slowly back to Earth. So, my drawing here isn't perfect by any means, but it gets kind of the right idea. They don't have to be fantastic. You don't have to be Picasso here, guys. But just in general. So if we compare that here to the one that the book has. And so theirs looks just a little bit different. We can kind of see the whole thing here. And I'll go back up so we can see them both. But pretty similar. Okay, a little bit different, but general shape is still the same. So again, don't have to be perfect, but gets the point across. Now, suppose you start to swing yourself on a playground swing. You move back and forth and swing higher into the air. Then you slowly swing to a stop. What sketch of a graph could represent how your height from the ground might change over time? Label each section. So our variables are height and time. And we want to know how our height changes over time, which means time goes on the bottom and our height goes on the side. Okay. The bottom changes independently. Time goes on. Nothing we can do about that. But the height changes based off how long you've been swinging. So, when you get on a swing, you start a little bit off the ground. And then you kick forward, so you go a little higher. And then you come back to the same ground level. When you come backwards, then you go backwards and you go up a little higher. And then you come back to that ground level, and then you go forward a little higher. Back to the ground level. Now you go backwards a little higher. Back down, up, and back to the ground level. And up, and back to the ground level. And eventually, you might swing to a stop. Okay? So, again, these are your heights. So think about it in terms of a swing. You get on the swing here. It's when it's all the way down. You go up, forward. You come back down to that same base level before you go backwards. Then you go up, come back down to that same base level, and then back and up and back and up and back. So, as far as labeling this, I'm going to label the section. All of this stuff is when we're swinging higher. And all of this stuff is when we slow to a stop. Slow to a stop. Combined things there. Slow to a stop. So again, you go up, down, up, down, up, down. Think about it like take your pencil in front of you, put your hand on the ground as the ground, so your pencil touches it. Swing it forward, and as you go backwards, it touches your hand again. It hits that, and forward, and back. And so we keep going back to that same height. Keep in mind that height is not all the way on the bottom because the height isn't 0. We don't touch the ground every time. We get back to that same initial height, so how far that swing is off the ground. Here's what they have. So theirs is a little bit different because they didn't swing as long, but still pretty close. Okay. So again, don't have to be perfect. The big thing there to remember is that we start off the ground, so we don't start at height 0. And then we go back to that same starting point every time, like when our chains on our swing are all the way down straight. Quick recap here. Graphs can be used to visually represent the relationship between two variable quantities as they change. Tables and graph can both show relationships between variables. And that's all I have for section 4.1.